Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Hanging with the Herd. This day after preseason game, second game of the preseason with the Minnesota Vikings. Just want to follow up real quick with some of our thoughts on the game, and then see what you guys think. You can post about it and tell us. So, what's going on, Pierre? How are you, man?
What's going on, Aaron? Yeah, man, it was a pretty, I don't know how to call it, man. Good and bad. But I'm definitely sure we're going to be sharing our thoughts live on this show, man. You went to the game, though?
Yeah, I went to the game, yeah. It was a beautiful night for football. A lot more people at the Ralph than I thought I would see there for preseason, so I was excited about that. Got me real pumped because I got my tickets for week one.
Sweet.
And so I'm all amped up now, ready for that. But, yeah, let's get right into the talk about the game. Let's get right into the first quarter. What do you want to start with?
Well, I mean, you were there, so you definitely saw the game, man. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, being there, the things I was looking forward to going into the game was I really wanted Kevin Kolb to really come out and give me a reason to understand why there was as much of a quarterback competition as there is. He didn't really do that. It took until late in the second quarter for him to really get rolling at all. Not everything was his fault, though. I will say that. The offensive line didn't play that great when he did draw back for passes. Receivers seemed to be, not fighting off their guys. Like that one interception, Goodwin probably could have created more separation there. But the fact is, it is a quarterback competition, and he's got to make those plays, and he didn't do anything to help himself. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think they played well. However, AP didn't play, so it's a lot easier to play the Vikings without AP, but I was still impressed. Got some good pressure, didn't create any turnovers, but overall, the starting unit did a pretty good job.
Yeah. Well, first, let me go ahead and just say this, man. Is the QB battle done? Are we able to say that now?
I think so, but Doug Marone's not willing to say that.
Yeah. I mean, he kept his word. He said it's a battle. He allowed Kolb to, try to win the job. He didn't make all the throws early. He definitely made them late, though. I can give him that. His whole excuse was he hasn't played since week 6 of last year. So, he was a bit rusty. And even during the scrimmage last week, he didn't play, then either because of the knee injury. So he hasn't really seen live action in a pretty long time. But, he is a vet. He's been in the league, I believe this is his 7th year now. So he should know how to make all the throws, especially under pressure. Now, I know in Arizona, he was always known for not really being a practice type of guy. He never really excelled when he was actually in the QB competition. But whenever he knew he had the job, he always played better than winning the job. But he did play, pretty solid in the second quarter, but, I mean, we all saw it, man. I mean, that first quarter was absolutely horrible. He wasn't able to make any throws. And like I've been saying for about a few days now, he had to really play extremely well to even think about winning that, starting gig. He definitely fell short. Now, on defense, yeah, our front seven looked pretty dominant. But I think our liability right now is Searcy, man. I mean, he's playing absolutely horrible right now. What are your thoughts on him?
Well, I think it's not just Searcy. Again, we're not playing a team with Adrian Peterson, so it's a little easier for that front seven to look better. I really wanted to see AP because of how bad the run defense has been in the past. Searcy doesn't look great, and hopefully the idea is Jairus Byrd will play this season. And Aaron Williams has played well, so maybe it's a pairing of Williams and Byrd, and Searcy is the rotational guy, which I'm fine with. I think Searcy, though, is getting a knock because of how bad the cornerback position play has been as well outside of Gilmore. Gilmore made a couple nice plays on the ball. I think Ron Brooks maybe had made a decent play on the ball, but then got called for pass interference for wrapping around the guy for no reason, which is his second big penalty in 2 games now. So the cornerback play has been real touchy, and so it's hard for me to blame it all on Searcy because I feel like they're relying a lot on the safeties to come up and make plays. But Searcy's tackling's been awful for sure. But again, he's a second-year guy. It's a brand new scheme. That's going to take time for these young DBs.
I mean, that is true. Well, I know in the Mike Pettin defense, he normally has both corners one-on-one, the majority of the game, where Searcy is guarding the tight end. And he wasn't able to guard, Kobe Fleener at all. And even last night, Kyle Rudolph, he could have made 6 or 7 plays on him. And I know he slipped on one play that I saw, and on the other play, he just got burnt, man. So, I mean, like, he's mainly there, to guard the tight ends, and he hasn't been doing a good job as of right now. Brooks, I don't know. He kind of had, I think he made up for last week, in a way. He played a lot better this week. I was really hoping to see Crescent Butler play. I wasn't sure why he didn't play. I guess he was injured, or he had some bruises or something.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even see him on the field at all.
I didn't see him either, but that comes back to those guys are really fighting for minutes too. I mean, if he's injured, that's a tough break because somebody's not keeping the job out there. You started looking at the 53-man roster, and they're probably going to keep 5 safeties. They could keep 6, maybe 7 wide receivers. So you start losing guys. Good talent's going to fall off. So every play counts at this point for these young guys.
Yep.
But again, nobody really stepped up in my eyes in that second cornerback. I mean, Gilmore looked like Gilmore, and after that, it was that second half was pretty sloppy. Minnesota really just did what they wanted to our secondary. Guys were wide open on slant routes, stuff like that. So nobody really stepped up and created turnovers and made plays to get themselves a shot with the ones.
Yeah. That's definitely true, man. Now Jerry Hughes, man, he looks like he's going to be a stud for us, man. He's actually playing well in the system right now. We kind of stole him from Indy. I know, fans are always talking about that. But as far as offense, man, and running back, I mean, CJ looked like, he's in midseason form. I wouldn't even play him in the rest of the preseason, in my opinion. Fred looked good out there. And even, what's his name? Zach Brown. He looked pretty solid too, man. So it's definitely,
Zach Brown made a couple nice plays.
As far as the running game, we definitely look solid there.
Yep. I think we look solid there. I think, wide receiver battle is getting really interesting. That's one thing that I really kept an eye on all game. Marcus Easley, again, had a really good game. His name was all over the PA. Just seemed to be open and sure-handed. Hogan, same thing. I think he dropped one pass from Cobb, but it was real far behind. But the guy just always seems to be open. Good special teams player. Didn't hear anything of the Rick Rogers name over the PA. Heard coaches have been pretty upset with him after that botch, walking off the field when that fumble occurred last game, and a couple of the mental slip-ups in practice. So that might be a good talent that gets cut.
Yeah, I mean, but I think it's like you said last week, man. I don't see us cutting him. He's too talented for us to just let him go like that. I think we're just going to have him on the roster, just cause. Just have him there and hope that we're able to unleash the beast. In my opinion, I think he's way too talented, for us to just let him go. But yeah, man. Now, just to go back real quick before we have to go.
One quick thing on that Rogers thing, though, and I was thinking about it this morning a little bit as I was thinking about the game, and there is a lot of talent at wide receiver, and I know Rodgers is a talented guy, but his talent is similar to some of the guys we already have. We have a lot of speed. We got Goodwin. We got Graham. Even Hogan's not a slow guy, and Easley's not either. So there's speed there, and then you got Stevie, who's just a very unique player. So guys like a Kaufman might offer the Bills a little bit more because he's, 6'5", 6. I mean, he's a big dude, Kaufman. Where Rodgers has similar skill sets to guys like Easley and he's a fast guy and he's got sure hands, but we've already got that. And so I'm
I mean,
starting to see Rodgers.
No, you definitely have a great point on that. My only debate with that is that Rodgers' talent or his skill level, he can easily be our best wide receiver in total. I mean, he has a size, speed, and strength. He's able to, he's an extremely talented guy. And even though we had like a Brad Smith, in my opinion, he's better than Brad Smith right now. He's better than Marquise Goodwin as far as a pure wide receiver. Yes, he has to learn some things, of course. He has to, become the professional.
It's all up here right now.
But
right.
But yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, coach has been all over him all
true.
camp. I guess he left for the locker room early during practice, and coach chased him down. Like, you're just hearing these numerous reports. Yeah, didn't play through that fumble play, and now he's also losing the minutes. He didn't get out on the field until Jeff Toole went in. Other guys, Kevin Elliott got a shot ahead of him.
And even Sampson as well, and Sampson's making plays out there.
The proof is, and Sampson. And so, I know he's a good talent, but you really got to put it out on the field and quit the maturity games, And it'll be a shame if he gets cut because I could see New England picking him up or somebody like that. So I hope he turns it around in the next 2 weeks, but he's got an uphill battle right now.
Yeah, that's true, man. So just real quick before we go, man, now I'm hearing fans out there saying that, we should cut Cobb. Cobb is just horrible. I think that we need to keep him on the roster, man. I've been all about EJ since day one.
Yeah.
That's well documented. But I do feel that, we should keep Cobb on the roster. He should be the backup. Jeff Toole, he went downhill since his last preseason game. He's been, practicing awful. So, Cobb should be our backup, of course. I think right now we shouldn't play any games right now. We should anoint EJ as our starter. We should, give him the majority of the reps from, this day forward. And get ready for the Patriots, man. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and, people saying that we should cut Cobb don't know football.
Exactly.
Because Kevin Cobb is a class act, for one. He's seen everything that there is to see in the league. He may not have done well against it, but he's a guy you can't replace in that quarterback room. They brought it up on the radio today. You got to have a buffer between these rookie quarterbacks and the coach. Like, if the coach is riding on EJ Manuel about game film and saying, like, dude, you're killing me, you're messing this up, he's got to have a guy that's another player that he can talk to that understands the game. If we have Jeff Toole as the only backup and something happens to EJ like week 3 or 4 and he misses a game, I'm terrified. Yeah. I'm okay with Kevin Cobb coming in the second half of a game. He can win a handful of games for the Bills. Jeff Toole is not a guy that I feel confident. He's a developmental guy. Put him on the practice squad. No one's going to pick up Jeff Toole if we waive him right now. Throw him on the practice squad. Let him develop. He might become a really good backup quarterback. I don't see the guy as an NFL-ready backup right now.
Yeah. I mean, he did look good last week.
And plus, we'd owe Kevin Cobb.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We would owe Kevin Cobb money. We would owe Kevin Cobb money if we cut him. Why would we? That would be dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it's just people, they jump to conclusions because, they just might not like him or whatever. But It's like you said, man, just as a football person in general, Cobb has to be on the team. Jeff Toole had a very bad week this week. He wasn't able to make any throws, and even when he went in the game last night, he was absolutely horrible then too. So, that should just prove that, Cobb is he's an asset. Now, what I can say about that is that
For sure.
he kind of had a game that EJ had last week in regards to him, starting off slow, and then he picked it up, once he was able to, calm down a little bit. I believe he ended the game like 9 for 10 or something like that. So, I mean, he warmed up pretty late, so I'll at least give him that. But his whole thing is he looked extremely bad, when he came in the first quarter. So, he definitely takes a knock on that.
Being there live, the biggest difference I noticed from when Kevin Cobb was on the field, my eyes were glued to Kevin Cobb. When EJ came on the field, my eyes were glued to EJ. And the biggest difference that I saw is EJ looks and feels like a starting quarterback. Like, I know that might not make sense to people, but when he was walking on the field, he walked with swagger. He walked with a confidence. And Kevin Cobb, you could just tell that the crowd booing him was in his head early. I have to admit, I was one of the people booing him, and I don't care what people think about that, but about 3 series into the game, I got frustrated and I was one of the boo birds down in the stadium. But it got to his head. EJ, you can tell, just has the swagger and the confidence. It's a very different type of guy.
Yeah. I mean, this is just what's frustrating to me are the fans who are saying, well, again, EJ was playing against the second and third string. And I knew it was going to happen. That's why, when Cobb was announced a starter, I was like, well, EJ's in a lose-lose situation with those borderline fans. Because, all they're going to say is, if he plays bad, I knew it. If he played good, well, it was against him second and third string. If you watch him, and it's just exactly like you said, Aaron, if you watch him play, you can tell easily that he knows what he's doing. He doesn't make mistakes, and he's able to offer a lot more than what Cobb offers. He seems
right. Well, when he does when he makes a mistake, it doesn't appear to rattle him at all. So that's also interesting. But to counter the point you're saying, though, I am in the camp of I really want to see more of EJ against starters. Like, I'm cool with that he played well against. It doesn't matter who he played well against. Like, he played well. That's awesome. But both sides of the ball have not really impressed me against starting units. In Indy, our defense played well, but we didn't cause takeaways, I don't think, in the starting unit. We played well last night, but we're playing well. But are we playing well enough to dominate games? I don't know. I want to see a little bit more against our units. Our offense has not scored a touchdown against another team starting unit yet. I'd love to see EJ come out next game and lead a drive right off kickoff and score a touchdown.
I really think
so. I see what some fans are saying.
Yeah, no. I mean, I understand it, of course, but I mean, in my opinion, EJ Manuel and Kevin Cobb, quarterback-wise or passing-wise, they're, extremely similar. So because Cobb hasn't been able to outshine EJ, then, he shouldn't even be, considered, because we all know that, EJ is our future. So if he's, even...
Right. EJ's ceiling is higher.
Exactly. So if they're even now, then we might as well go ahead and start our future now. But what I'm thinking is, if EJ starts next week, because next week is when, the first team, they normally play into the third quarter. So if he falls on his face next week and it's obvious that he's just not ready against first teamers, then maybe we can go back to this conversation. But if he shows that he's able to man the ship, because remember, we got CJ back there that's going to bail him out over and over again. So if he doesn't look as bad as what Cobb looks, and he's average at least that, then he should hands down win the job. If he falls on his face, then okay, maybe, he's not ready. But as of right now, he hasn't shown that he's not ready. He hasn't shown that he's able to lead up.
My problem, though, is my only problem with that logic is at this point, if he falls on his face, I think if they name him the starter going into this next game, I feel like from this week on, it's preparation for New England. Uh, that's the big, we got to beat New England. Everyone in town knows it. So if you name EJ Manuel the starter for next week, that's it, man. Like, we got to go. We got to ride it into the season. I don't want to do each and every week if he has a bad week, then Cobb's coming in for him, because that's a quarterback controversy. What we have right now in Buffalo is a quarterback competition, which are two different things. So I want the quarterback talk to be over, whoever they decide to be the starter, and go into the season and ride with that guy. Like, EJ is going to have ups and downs. He's a rookie. I'm okay with that. He could trip over himself a couple times. Even last night, he had a good throw night, but he ran into that sack. He took like a 15-yard loss on that one sack.
Mean, I saw that same play, and I think that any quarterback would have got sacked there, but he's one of those quarterbacks that is able to elude that if there's any. Cobb would have got sacked easily. So I think that was a broken play. Any quarterback that was back there would have got sacked, even if it was, RG3.
For sure.
So,
but all I'm saying though is he's bound to make mistakes. So
every
time he makes a mistake, though, we can't be like, well, maybe we should start Cobb next week. You gotta pick the guy and go with him.
I agree,
and let him develop.
Yep. I mean, Marone did say that he's gonna pick a guy 10 days before the season. So, hopefully it's sooner. But if it's not, if he's still out there saying, well, let's see what happens, I think he's gonna start EJ next week. Yeah. Just cause.
I think whoever the starter is next week is going to be the starter week 1.
Me too. But I mean, like I've been saying, man, from day one, man, EJ has to be the guy, man. He offers a lot more than what Cobb is, and I mean, Cobb is who we thought he is, man. I mean, I'll bring the whole fucking the Denny Green into the equation. Cobb is who we thought he is, and we're not gonna let him off the hook, man. I mean, that's it. He's done. He's our backup, and let's roll with it, man.
But outside of quarterback, though, because that's a conversation we've talked about a bunch of times, and I feel like it's definitive at this point. We know what we're going to do moving forward. My biggest concern going into Week 1 against the New England Patriots isn't the defense. It's not the quarterbacks. Not all these things that we have, these assets we have on the field. It's the turnovers are scaring the crap out of me right now. First game we had 9 turnovers. Last night we had 14 turnovers, and a lot of them came on the kickoffs that put us half a distance back to the goal, and stuff like this. So we're starting drives on the 5-yard line, 10-yard line because of a stupid penalty. Penalties killing drives. That killed Cobb's drive a couple times too. A few stupid penalties.
You make a great point.
We can't do that against the Patriots and win.
Yeah. Those penalties absolutely killed us, and I mean, even Marone was even saying it after the game that that really bothered him, and most of the penalties were on the offensive line. So yeah, you definitely have a great point on that, and that is concerning. Yep.
Yeah, that's a huge concern. So I'm going to be watching real closely next Saturday to see if they can correct some of those silly holding calls and just especially on special teams too. You just can't afford a team like the Patriots. You got to execute your drives, and you got to keep Tom Brady off the field. And as fast as our offense is, when you go 3 and out in this offense, man, you can't even get up and stretch during the, what I mean? Like, there was a couple of series where I was like, holy crap, we had the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
It'll be interesting to watch next week, and that's all I've got about this last game.
Man, that's it, man. I mean, I might be going to the game, next week versus the Redskins, man. I'm trying to work on that now. Me and Randy from our group, we're planning on going to the game, man. So, we'll definitely be taking some videos and tweeting from the from FedEx Field, man. But yeah, man, that's it, man. I mean, I think right now we had a pretty good showing. Our defense looks pretty strong. Our offense looks pretty steady. I'm loving the no huddle right now. And yeah, man. I mean, let's go Bills, man.
yeah, there's a lot to be encouraged about, and I can't wait till this next game to see, see what's next. I'm taking it week to week, man. I'm not getting too excited, not getting too upset, and just enjoying it while, it's a good time to be a Bills fan.
There we go, man. There we go. Well, all right, guys. Appreciate you guys watching the show. I'll see you guys next week.
Peace out, guys.